I often speak it like that. And there are 19 seconds for Derek on Great Moments starting now.
A great moment in my life was when Dave and Neagle received a DVE. We didn't know about it in the country like this, very poor Charlie girl, and suddenly on read in the newspaper that this great award has been given to this most noble and great woman.
We give you a chance.
Repetition.
Of what?
Well, aren't you listening?
I'm listening. I want to know whether you are. What was the word?
Lady.
Yes, thank you very much. You're correct. 2 seconds on Great Moments starting now.
I was stuck in a BBC lift with a lady.
You see, Peter, it can be, when Dennis Constantly repeated, it could be that you come up with the wrong challenge as Derek did. That's why I have to ask you. But I liked your response.
Well, thank you
Very witty, yes. You're still in the lead, by the way?
Because I haven't been playing it as long as you've been chairman. I've only been doing it for years.
But it's affected your hair more than mine. In other words,
did you hear that? That great corpulent oaf saying things like that about Peter Jones. I think it's like that cold. So do I, Kevin.
I mean, a poor man labouring there and all the difficulties he's labouring under anyway.
And you must remember that I have to play the game with you. You only have to play it with me.
They're working that one out, Peter. I have to play with all of you. They're all four of you up against them. So, anyway, we are now going to continue with... yes, who's going to begin? Peter Jones is your turn to begin. The subject is egg on face occasions. Will you tell us something about those in the game starting now?
Well, of course, I've had a number of these over a long and successful career. I've appeared in the wrong clothes and made the wrong speech.
And Derek Nimmer challenge.
Wrong.
There are 51 seconds for you on egg on face occasions starting now.
One of the most egg-on-face occasions I ever heard about was when Peter Jones was coming down a lift at the BBC with this lady. Well, he took it that she was inviting him to do a little bit of their work, and she wasn't at all, so that's why he got sort of visage very heavily in that particular piece of machine. But the worst thing that ever happened to me, I must tell you about it, because I think you'll be quite fascinated. As a matter of fact, it was quite a few years ago. I think I was 3 and a half at the time. Standing on a beach, and a fellow came up to me and showed me one of those little McGill postcards. I didn't know whether perhaps I ought to answer him like a joke, but I did have egg on my face when I saw what was written underneath, because there was a line which I thought was quite witty, although rather eggy, I must confess there, because Humpty Dumpty was on the front.
Derek Nimmo was saved by the whistle of the game before he went over and told us one of those rude jokes. Derek, you crept forward. You're 1 ahead of Brian Johnston. You're 2 behind the lead of Peter Jones, and Kenneth is still in a commanding 4th place. Derek, it's your turn to begin. The subject is sandstorms. Can you tell us something about that in the game starting now?
They really are singularly terrifying. The first time I was caught in a sandstorm, I was travelling from Sharjah up through a wadi across to Port Khan. I saw in the far distance a cloud no bigger than a man's hand, which assumed enormous proportions and I saw coming towards me this vast quantity of sand. I got my candle, was a thing to do, and crept down behind it. Wilfred Thesiger had taught me to do this personally, so I knew exactly what was required. I took my noose off, wrapped it around my head, put water on it, and waited for the sand to pass over. Now, it took some, I would say 25 minutes before the worst of this Sahara.
It doesn't matter, the whistle went before you got to the Sahara. And Brian, you've moved forward, but you're still 1 behind Pete Jones, our leader, 1 ahead of Derek Nimmo in 3rd place. Kenneth Williams is in 4th place, and he's now taking the next subject, which is keeping my figure. Don't laugh, he has a beautiful little diminutive figure there. Beautifully marked, beautifully shaped, and uses it very effectively on the stage. There are 60 seconds on that subject starting now.
Well, I have met people who
as the whistle went, gained a point for that, and also a net bonus point for not being interrupted. Alas, it's still in fourth place. He gives great value for money. Brian Johnston, you begin the next round. The subject is things I make lists of. And there are 60 seconds as usual, starting now.
I make lists of a great many things. When you get to my age, you do forget. And so I have a little book in my pocket, and each morning I write down things which I have to do during the day. Sometimes it's shopping, sometimes it's people I've got to... sometimes... I'm sorry. Sorry. I mean, I have to play...
60 seconds for Derek Nimmer to talk about things I make lists of. I'm so sorry.
I only have 60 seconds.
Why are you penalising?
Give with 60 seconds, and then loads had to go. So there must have been some time used up. That would there now be 60 seconds. It makes no sense. Here am I, here.
It doesn't make any sense at all. The sense is that I made a mistake. I am human.
What did you tell you?
Oh, you never know where you are in this game, but he's got a deal.
First time for everything, Kenneth.
There are 46 seconds left, and Derek has the subject, things I make lists of, starting now. Kenneth, I think that time you really didn't expect it. No, Kenneth, I agree, you have... There's more than a second.
I think that's a bit harsh.
No, it's not. He's the chairman. Nobody's better done.
Well, I think it is.
Well, I can see on the watch that EMS knows it's more than a second before he started.
More than a second.
It's there.
You mumble on so much, I never know when you're going to say stop.
Well, I think you know the game sufficiently well to get it. And you're usually cracking like that anyway. Kenneth, I agree you have a hesitation there. 44.5 seconds on things I make lists of, starting now.
I make lists of all those delightful people. Derek Nimmo. I put right at the top because he has such fanciful, delightful life. I did it wrong when he...
Derek Nimmo, chap.
Revolution of I. We're playing a really tough game tonight. Well, you can't make a list of Derek Nimmo.
But you didn't challenge, Peter.
He may have a list, but he isn't one.
He may be at the top of the list, but you didn't challenge. It was Derek who challenged. And Kenneth still has the subject on 31 seconds on things I make lists of, starting now.
I work out the impression. It's after all when things in terms of Derek are Caravaggio and my dear old Gelsino. So Paul, because, you know, it means squint-eyed. And his real name, Francesco Barbieri, is Frank Barber, which doesn't sound at all interesting as opposed to foreign version. Rather like Jose Moreno, a lot better than Joe Brown. But on the other hand, you see, many effects...
Doing the
Revolution of UC.
Yes, you did say you see before, yes. I thought you were going to have him for deviation. He's got away from the rest.
Well, I thought you weren't going to give me a point at all, so I'm really quite pleased the way it's turned out.
There you have a correct challenge, and you have 3 seconds for things I make lists of, starting now.
Radish and sausages, turnips and peas, greens and johns and...
Derek Nimmo was speaking as the whistle went and has now taken the lead, but the scoring situation is very interesting. There's only 1 point separating each of them in this order. Derek Nimmo, Peter Jones, Brian Johnston, and then Kenneth Williams. Peter Jones, your turn to begin. The subject is a much-needed invention. Will you tell us something about that in just a minute? Starting now.
I'd like some kind of invention to stop me repeating myself or hesitating, let alone deviating from the subject. If it could be an electronic impulse which just fitted under my arm or some other place in my body and gave me a little twinge when I was about to do this, then I might easily be able to speak more fluently with some kind of oratorical Williams.
I think Stevie actually speaks beautifully and most beautifully. I think Stevie doesn't speak perfectly.
He didn't say that. He
little bar where there was some unusually effete and sensitive Englishman sitting there, wrapped in long dish dashes, in their sort of robe that people tend to wear in that part.
That's quite a delightful challenge. Also, Derek Nimmo point for being interrupted. He keeps the subject. There are 13 seconds on Casablanca starting now.
They made a very good film called The Casablanca, which starred the late Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, and he spent a second in this film. Play it again, Sam. I don't know whether that was an absolutely correct.
Well, at the end of that round, getting an extra point for speaking as the whistle went, Derek Nimmo has increased his lead, but he's only 2 ahead of Peter Jones, and Kenneth Williams begins the next round, and the subject is asteroids. Will you tell us something about those in the game starting now?
These are electrons, meteors, sometimes they're also called stars. Like me, I twinkle, and when I arrive in France, they always say, "Oh, vous êtes enchanté, it's de vivant." I think it's very nice to be greeted in France. Asteroids go across the sky. It was in fact a great astronomer who said, "Shooting stars go across the skies at night." The oral tradition, that is say, they are gone once they have been seen, and that's the written tradition. Stays forever.
Derek Nimmo challenge.
Two traditions.
Yes, you talked about tradition before. Sorry, Kenneth, and congratulations on the way you wriggled out of the sky in the sky. I thought that was superb. There are 16 seconds on asteroids with Derek starting now.
When I first met Kenneth Williams, he said to me, I thought that I have got the most terrible asteroids. It wasn't in fact one of them. But I thought for a long time, rather puzzled, and I looked it up in the dictionary, and I found it was these little minor stars that went around the center.
Derek Nimmo saved by the whistle once again. Shooting all over the place, I've no doubt. We've now reached the end of this particular contest and game, and Brian Johnston, who came back from his previous rounds, finished in 4th place, only 1 point behind Kenneth Williams, who gave such excellent value as usual. He was 2 points behind Peter Jones, who was excellent, outstanding as ever, and way out in the lead was that superlative player of the game, the one and only Derek Nimmo. We do hope you've enjoyed this edition of Just a Minute, enjoyed listening to it as much as we've enjoyed playing it, and we'll be tuning in again when Just a Minute once more takes to the air and we all play this delightful game. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye.
The chairman of Just a Minute was Nicholas Parsons. The program was devised by Ian Messiter and produced by Pete Atkins.
Peter Jones and Victoria Wood in Just a Minute. And as the minute waltz fades away, here to tell you about it is our chairman, Nicholas Parsons.
Hello and welcome once again to Just a Minute. Once again I'm going to ask them if they can speak on the subject that I will give them and try and do it without hesitation, repetition or deviating from the subject. And let us begin the show this week with Kenneth Williams. The subject is going off at the deep end. So something that you would never dream of doing, I'm sure, Kenneth. But can you talk on the subject for 60 seconds starting now?
Divers are advised to go for the deep end because if they do it the shallow one, well, that I would have a lot of trouble on impact. You see, I was at school and the swimming lessons were obligatory. In other words, I was forced to attend them. And I didn't take a lot of pleasure in the idea of it because I'm not very given to athleticism in any way. I'm more your cup of tea and an aspirin and a lie down because I don't think you should expend an awful lot of energy, least of all in swimming baths where I think you...
Clement Freud is challenged.
Repetition of swimming.
Yes, you mentioned swimming before, I'm afraid, Kenneth. So Clement Freud has a correct challenge. He gets a point for that, of course, and he takes over the subject with 24 seconds left, going off at the deep end starting now.
If you're going to go off, the deep end is not a bad place in which to do it, and an extraordinary smell emanates from your person, while all around the municipal baths people nudge each other and say, I believe he is going off, and especially at the deep end, at the shallow side of the pool.
When Mexico blows his whistle, that tells us 60 seconds is up. Whoever is speaking at that moment gains the extra point. It was Clement Freud on this occasion, and I don't need to tell you that he has the lead at the end of the first round. In fact, he's the only one who scored any points. We'd also like you to begin the second round, Clement, and...
Has the Monopoly Commission looked into this?
Well, the subject is so much you that we thought we should ask you to take this round. The subject is stewed hippo. And I'm sure you can tell us something about that in the game starting now.
Stewing is alternate culinary methodology to boiling, roasting, deep or shallow frying, and baking. And I suggest by far the best way of doing it is to cut the meat into small cubes, such as you might put on a skewer or be able to put into your mouth at one time. Saute it, which is French for...
Peter Jones is hesitation. Yes, I think you are right, and you have the subject, and you have stewed hippo with 17 seconds left starting now.
Well, hippos usually lie about in mud and water, and if they were immersed in gin or some other alcoholic beverage, they would become stewed hippos. And I think that's about all I can say. Fortunately, I don't have...
Kenneth Williams.
I don't agree. I'm sure there's a lot more you could say on that subject. With his inventiveness and his extraordinary verbal dexterity, I think he could go on forever if he wanted to.
So you're accusing him of deviation?
Yes, certainly.
Well, you've been very clever because you've got him with 2 seconds to go. And a point for a correct challenge, and stewed hippo starting now.
Well, of course, nobody has it. Nobody civilized would have it, but that is
Right. So, Kenneth Williams got the extra point, speaking as the whistle went. He's in a strong second position. 2 points behind Clement Freud, who's still in the lead. Peter Jones has 1 point. It begins the next round, and the subject is getting stuck in the lift. Peter, don't laugh. It's happened to me once. It is... There are 60 seconds, starting now.
Well, if you're going to get stuck in a lift, the important thing is to choose a companion who is congenial and will help pass the time in as pleasant a way as possible. And then getting stuck in a lift can be relatively pleasant. Between 2 floors, perhaps during...
Victoria.
Hesitation.
Hesitation is right, Victoria. You have 42 seconds which are left of the subject. So could you tell us something about getting stuck in the lift starting now?
Getting stuck in a lift is much easier if you put in more people in the lift than the lift instruction, which is usually on the wall, tells you you should have. So what I would suggest if you wanted to get stuck in the lift is to get in the lift and then bring in your friends or your wives or your husbands or your animals so that there are more kilograms inside the cube that's moving up and down, because I don't know if I'm supposed to say lift any more times or not. Nicholas, can I?
Well, almost everything.
Yes.
You name it. You name it, she did it.
So, Clement, you have 14 seconds on getting stuck in the lift starting now.
If you get stuck in a lift, I suggest you lose weight, and it'll be quite easy to get out. But if the lift gets stuck, you really are in trouble, especially if it does so between two floors, because it is extraordinarily difficult if you're...
Another point for speaking as the whistle went and has increased his lead. So Victoria Wood, your turn to begin. The subject that dear Miss has chosen is the last time my husband sawed me in half. That's the subject, my
Yes,
love. Would you tell us something
yes.
about it in the game starting now?
The last time my husband sawed me in half was in November when he wanted to test out a trick which is called a stomach zopper, which is a piece of equipment which he was using to cut into the actor Roy Kinnear, who was appearing in pantomime with him at the Palace Theatre in Manchester. And he called me in from the other room and he said he'd like to try out this particular thing that I've just mentioned. And I lay on it. It was a very large, oblong, black thing with casters and a bit that fitted over the top, over your stomach, with a Black & Decker saw that went across in the middle. So I lay down and he switched it on and pressed it right across the middle after having said the magic words Ole Torremolinos. And then he switched it on and it goes zzz, makes a very frightening noise. I can't tell you how it works, though I do know, and it's something to do with an extra bit of equipment which I can't mention. And then he ran it across backwards and lo, there it was, not in two bits but in one, because it was magic. And that's actually the end of the story. I don't know if I should keep on talking.
Kevin Freud, you challenge.
Deviation is the end of the story.
That's not deviation.
That is not deviation.
Deviation from the subject of the last time.
She said that was the end of the story. She was still keeping on the subject. So that challenge is incorrect, Clement. And you have 4 more seconds. Victoria, time keep going on the last time my husband sawed me in half, starting now.
The last time my husband sawed me in half was 4:30
So Victoria Wood was then speaking as the whistle went, and she has gained points in that round with which she began, and she is now in second place behind our leader, Clement Freud. Kenneth, will you begin the next subject? The subject is the 3 bears. 60 seconds. Starting now.
This is a children's nursery rhyme, as I recall.
Victoria Wood.
It's not. It's a story. Sorry.
I beg your pardon, yes, it's a story, a children's story. Shall I go on?
That's a good challenge, Victoria, yes?
I think so.
I'm sorry, I was a bit confused. I thought it was the children's aspect of the challenge, and I apologize.
No.
There are 53
I
seconds.
thought it was a grown-up nursery rhyme.
You do have to make allowances for my rather weak mental capacity.
Yes.
That's why I have the job. If I was as intelligent as you, we wouldn't be able to have a good game.
Oh, come on, no. Come on, be serious.
52.
If I wanted to be funny, I'd wear a suit like that.
You were before I bought it. Right, let's get back to just a minute. 52 seconds. Victoria Wood, the 3 bears.
3 Bears is a children's story, though some people, I believe, think it's a nursery rhyme, but actually it's not. It's a children's story, and it's a
And Clement Freud challenge.
Hello?
Repetition of children's story.
Yes, I think so.
Right, so Clement, there are 50 seconds on the 3 bears, starting now.
When my husband saw the 3 bears in
That's insanity.
It may be insanity, but we don't know yet whether he's deviated from the subject.